Hello there everyone, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome to a brand new video. Today it is time for the start of what should hopefully be a long and fruitful series. This is the first episode of FM21 Conquering the Euro. We begin our career in Ligue 1 with Olympique Gymnast Club de Nice. I did do French at school in GCSE and in A level and I got an A in both, but less about my educational qualifications and more what we're hoping to achieve in this save. Now, it's really what it does in the name, conquering the Euro. We're going to try and win 3 European leagues. We start in France, and I'll talk about why and how that's happening in just a minute. But our aim at the end of this, or I suppose as a first aim, is to go and win 3 European leagues. So that could be the French League, the Spanish League, the German League, the Italian League, the Portuguese League, the Dutch League, the Premier League, of course, in England, the Belgian League, the Polish League. I mean, is the Welsh League a bit far? Possibly, it might be, but our aim is to initially go and win 3 different European leagues. Then, if we can do that, then my aim is to go and win 5 European leagues. But the first thing we want to do is win 3 European leagues. I guess the first thing we want to do is win 1 European league, which is where OGC Nice come in. That's going to take a bit of a while for me to get used to. You can see we've got the club logo in the top of the webcam, so you won't be able to forget who we're with. Despi must mean founded or something. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, let's start our career with OGC Nice. Now, I think today's video is going to just be a series introduction, talking through the players we've got at the squad. And then tomorrow's video in the 4 PM slot for the rest of this week. And then I think from Monday onwards, we're going to go for a 6 PM slot. This series is going to be daily for the next week and a half. And then after that, we'll be moving to, what the day is going to be, a Tuesday, Thursday, and then 2 episodes on the weekend on a Saturday and Sunday at 6 PM. So if that's something you can get on board with, leave a like down below. These part 1s are so important to bringing new viewers to the channel. So I'd really appreciate if you left a like down below. And obviously subscribe for regular FM21 content. Now, for those of you who haven't watched anything of mine before, we did a 2-season beta save with Wolverhampton Wanderers before we started this save with Nice. And I mention this because this is in the same game world as when we managed Wolves. So I am the former Wolves manager, and that is, as you can see here, Jones has earned himself a reputation, blah, blah, blah. The subject of considerable criticism following a humiliating FA Cup exit at the hands of Watford, but doesn't tell you that we finished 6th and then 5th in 2 Premier League seasons, so I was pretty chuffed about that. We left the club after 2 seasons, and I thought, well, I want to really continue this save in the same game world. It would give us a bit of experience. It means that we can't just go to any club that we want to go to. For example, one job that was open at the end of Season 2 was Sevilla. I'd have jumped on that and really wanted to go to Sevilla. They didn't give us the job. Now, if that was a pre-loaded game, we could have selected Sevilla and the club would effectively have no choice in hiring us, if you like. We make that choice altogether. But we've been at it for nearly 12 months now trying to find a job. I've had interviews in Spain, in Germany, in Holland. And we had an interview with OGC Nice. Patrick Vieira was the previous manager. He got sacked, and it looked like a club that looks like an interesting one. One that isn't one of the biggest in France. I'll probably say maybe 5th or 6th biggest in France. But somewhat, I guess, a little bit like Wolves. Again, this team seemed to like to play a high-tempo pressing game, which, as I said here, is something that we did at Wolves and something that the club will adopt as well. So this should be a really good start with Nice. Now, the aim here is one of 2 things, really. We need to establish what our expectations are going to be. Firstly, if we've got a good enough squad, and I think we probably have. I've looked at only one player, and that's the main striker. Apart from that, I don't know anybody else, because, of course, we're now in, I think it's April 2023. There's only a few games left till the end of the season, so this is a new squad compared to who they are at the start of the game. So I'm going to have to have a look at the squad. But firstly, if this squad is as good as I think it is, and we've got the potential to make additions to the squad, we can go in the league, this Ligue 1 with Nice. That's the first objective. If that doesn't happen, then we treat this club as a stepping stone. Prove what we're made of in France, increase our reputation, and then jump and go somewhere else. But let's now jump into this. This is, as I say, it's going to be an introduction episode, looking at the squad, and then tomorrow we'll probably play our first couple of games. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet, because this is a very unorthodox way to start. I appreciate that, starting in April of 2023. So, I would like to formally welcome you to Nice, blah, 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 etc., etc. The reputation is a 4-star reputation, which is exactly parallel with Wolves. Wolves are a 4-star club, so it's about the right stage to come in at, really. Media prediction is 6th. You will see, I think the club were in 12th, weren't they? So not the best season at all. We have got a director of football, Julien Fournier. No assistant managers, so there's a bit of scope there to bring somebody in. Yeah, 12th in the current season, which is worrying because I don't think they're going to get European football for next year. That might mean we struggle to attract players for next year. They haven't won the league since 1959. They haven't won the cup, the French Cup, since 1997. Anything else here? I think there's a few little bits and pieces. Okay, they are in the Europa Conference League, which is kind of Europa League number 2, and they're currently in the quarter-final of that, so no pressure. We might actually be having our first few games in the quarter-final of the Conference League, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. The club play their home games at Allianz Riviera, 35,000 capacity, so good capacity stadium. Great training facilities, great, good to see. The club probably enjoyed their best speller's success during the 50s. Again, it's just like Wolves. It's just like Wolves. Unbelievable. Okay, let's have a look at the squad. Your coaching staff have compiled a brief overview of the current OGC Nice squad. They'll provide you with a more comprehensive report in the coming days. Now, you know exactly who I was looking at first, didn't you? Kasper Dolberg. That's an exciting one. Apart from that, I must admit, I'm not familiar, I don't think, with any of these players. I thought, oh, is that Kingsley Coman? No. Apart from Coman, I am absolutely clueless. We've got Sumola Kabali coming in as a free transfer for PSG. Never heard of him either. So it's going to be a learning curve, but one that I'm really excited to do because in my 8-9 years of playing Football Manager, I've never managed in France. I've done England, obviously. I've managed in Germany. I've done Italy. I don't think I've done Spain either, but I've done quite a few European nations, but never managed in France. So this is one I'd be quite excited for. So, club culture. Develop players using the club's youth system. Happy with that. Play high-tempo pressing football. Again, that's something we did at Wolves. That's something I'm happy to do here. And do not sign players over the age of 30, so no Balotelli coming back. That's a shame. Work within wage budget. Yeah, fair enough. Minimum 2-year contracts to first-team players. Interesting, I suppose, if they're not over 30, that makes sense. I'm going to ignore these objectives at the end of the current season because there's not a lot we can do about that, is there? We've got a 2-year contract. They want us to develop the best youth team in the country and continue qualifying for the Europa Conference League. I'd like to be a bit more ambitious than that and go for the Europa League next year. I'm going to schedule a press conference, fine. I'm going to send an advice report from the backroom staff, less please. And there we go. OGC Nice hire Toby Jones as the club's new manager. We saw all this beforehand. Let's have a look at where we are. I'm a bit worried that we might not be doing too well at all. So in the competitions, we're on 37 points. Let's have a quick look at the league this year. So we're 9 points clear of the drop, which isn't too great. 14 points away from 5th, who's Monaco. I mean, if you look, it's quite a competitive league, actually. PSG and Lille, both on the same points at the top. So Lille are a better side now than they were. Interesting to see. Let's have a look who's won the league the last few years, because obviously there's been a few seasons in this save. So in the first year we finished 6th above Monaco. PSG won the league. That's something that's fairly obvious. We then finished 5th. So 5th or 6th is about where we're looking at. That's why in the season preview they were 6th, or at least predicted to finish 6th. But it's been a poor season. We're 12th at the moment. How many games are left? Okay, we've got quite a few games left, actually. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 10 games to go. Is there? 38. Yeah, there's 19. Yes, the same as the Premier League. Actually, yeah, so that's not too bad. We'll actually get probably a few games in before the end of the season. Very much a bedding in time. We've got Zorya in the Europa Conference League quarter-final. We played Zorya with Wolves a few years ago, so that'll be a nice return. I also want to mention Wolves very quickly, because for those of you who watched the save, you'll be very interested to see what's happened with Wolves. Well, they've got Mauricio Pochettino, but I can't believe this. They've made a few decent signings, great. We're not going to go into it too much. They've got Neymar. Wolves have got Neymar. I genuinely couldn't believe it. My jaw dropped when I read that. He's gone there on a free. He's worth 72 million. That's an absolute steal for them. We bought Goetzer in. He seems to be doing... I mean, he's been transfer listed. Wow. I mean, for 28 million, though, we bought him in on a free transfer, but he's not been selected. But yeah, it's a quick look at Wolves. That made me smile, that did. They're 7th in the Premier League, so about where we were with them, and Pochettino's a very good successor for us, I think. But back to Nice now. This is a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life, etc. I've been singing a bit too much Nina Simone in the last few days. But, yeah, competition. So, we are through to the quarter-final of the Europa Conference League, and not being too offensive to Zoya, but that should be one we should be able to get through. We've got Krasnodar. I mean, Monaco are only in the Conference League. That's a concern. They're not doing all that well, are they? Let's have a quick butchers at Monaco. They must have been in the Europa League first off, surely. No, they're only in the Conference League. So what's the qualification then in the French League? So I don't know. I really don't know. So they finished 6th. Wow. So they finished 6th, yeah. They got to the Conference League. Bear in mind, compared to the British League, the English League, not the British League, sorry, the English League, only the top 3 get Champions League football. So you need to bear that in mind. Monaco had a stinker though last year and haven't done much better this season. We've got 10 games to go. What's realistic? We're 14 points away from Monaco, so that's not going to happen. What's realistic, though? I think 8th is realistic. Surely we're not. I mean, if we go down, we're being sacked straight away. But let's have a look at the squad then. Let's have a look at the players we've got. So Dynamics first off. I mean, that's not going to be very much use, I suppose, if we don't know who we've got. So Kasper Dolberg's our best player. That's fairly obvious. 25 years old. He's been at Nice for a while now. Only 7 goals this year. So the previous manager, Vieira's not really got him working. We've got Wieland Cyprian, central midfielder, not a player I've heard of, I have to say. Plenty of experience, been at Nice for a long time. Central midfield, looks a good player. Diego Dallo, that is one I do know. He's from Manchester United and they've signed him this year for 3.9 million. Looks a good player. And Mathan Doye, I feel like I recognise him from somewhere, but probably don't. No, I don't. So again, you might notice that they're not particularly lavish with their signings. If you look at the transfer budget, there's not a hell of a lot available. The wage budget, there's not that much available. If we put it in the wage budget into positives, we've got 11 million to spend. To be fair, you guys know who've watched me for a while, I'm quite frugal, so I don't mind that. But not going through everyone here, but I think we've actually got quite a well-rounded squad. I suppose it depends in what positions these play, but if you just look, you've got all of these players, probably a solid 18 at least are players that are above a 3-star rating. I'll definitely take that. I feel like I recognise Terence Congolo. I do. He played in the UK. Yeah. I mean, look at that. Look at that deterioration in transfer. That's tragic, isn't it? We've got Danilo here, Atal. Again, a lot of players I've just never heard of, and I suppose we will hear of in the future. The development centre, is there any cracking youngsters coming through? Ooh, there are a lot of good youngsters coming through. This 16-year-old, he already looked... Oh, he already put my teeth back in. He already looks good. We've got a second team, OGC Nice 2. They're suppose a bit like the under-23s, aren't they? Development Centre. OGC Nice 2, so that's like the under-23s and then the under-19s. Okay. Got a few players out on loan as well. Looks like a good side, this does. Really does look like a good side. I don't think we're going to blow up the French League straight away, but I think we've got a good chance of doing something. When is our first match? Because I might play that in today's episode. Our first match, in fact, is today. I mean, that's no pressure at all, is it? Yeah, I think we'll go and play our first match today. I'm going to have a quick look at the side now off camera, see who we play, and let's see if we can go and beat Zoya. I tell you what, that's a welcome to the job, isn't it? First game of Conquering the Euro is our first day on the job. That's a bit harsh. I'll tell you what is a shock with this squad. There's not a lot of depth at all. We've only got one keeper. And the next one's in the under-23s. That's a concern. But you can see we've put the players into the system that we played with Wolves. We've got the back 4 of Dallo, Gravelon, Robson, Bamboo and Ristic. Cyprien and Danilo in the midfield. Ndiaye or Ndiaye? Ndiaye? Not a clue. Monero and Coman in the attacking midfield. And then Dolberg up front. We haven't got a lot of depth. And that's something I'm going to be working on in the summer. You know, I guess there's just a lot of time just to figure out where we are with the squad, isn't there? That's the beauty of going to any club. So, we're playing against Zoya today. We put 5 past them with Wolves. I'm going to say to the lads... In fact, we need an assistant manager. That'll probably help, won't it? Go out there, play and relax. Yeah, we'll send the coach that, whatever. But so this is the side. Then you can see a 4-2-3-1. The form's not that great. We've got 1 win in the last 5, which isn't marvellous. I've just noticed in the review at the bottom, apparently we've made 5 changes, so we're not playing who Vieira fancied, but we did a quick pick. We swapped a few things around. Let's see what happens. A bit of a tough one to come in at, but this is my first match with OG Nice, and I am absolutely thrilled to be getting on with it. I'll push that out because that was annoying me. That was the fact that it was all out there, but I don't know what to expect. I really do not know what to expect. It's not like being with Wolves. With Wolves, we kind of know where we're starting. We know what sort of reputation we are compared to our opponents. With Nice, not a clue. Anyway, it'd be great to get an early win, wouldn't it? Coman, not quite getting it to Dolberg. Again, we've literally... It's not going to be perfect from day one. We have given these players the tactic 2 hours before the match, maximum. And we've said, right, work with it. It didn't take. It took our Wolves players a while to get into it, but once they did it, they did really well. But if we need to change the tactic, I was asked that in my first press conference. If we need to change the tactic, if it doesn't work for these players, we'll do that. Alternatively, we'll change the players, and that's going to be something we only learn through trial and error, ultimately. But 38 minutes in, a very quiet first half to our opening match as the Nice manager. We're looking a little bit insecure in possession, I would say. Our passing's not great. It's just that fluidity you get and the gelling you get over time. But Coman with a brilliant goal there. Florinal Coman gets his first goal under our reign. A really nice individual goal there. Again, didn't put much passing. He'd had the ball since the halfway line. Worked his way past the Zoya defence. Very nice nice build-up play, albeit individual build-up play. Good shot there. Beats the goalkeeper. Good stuff. Nice start from our left winger. And if there's ever a time for a player to impress, it's when a new manager comes in, doesn't it? And Coman... with that, impresses me. 7 shots. I don't think they've had any, to be honest. Oh, sorry, they've had 5, but a lot less possession. Yeah, things are going well. I'm happy with this at the moment. It's a 2-legged tie. I might bring you the second leg in the next episode. I don't know, but it all depends how it goes today, I suppose. But as long as we can get a draw, I'm not really fussed. I don't want to lose our first game in charge. It's never the best standard to set, I suppose. I know we've got Marseille next, but given that our season's a bit of a write-off, I probably won't play that. I'll probably give it a few games before I come back. I want a bit of time off camera. I think that's understandable, just to understand who our strong links are and work out who's going to be the players that get into this team. Ristic's injured, so we're going to... I mean, we've got nobody on left-back. Guess Dallo has to come in to replace him at left-back and then right-back. This is a cracking feature, by the way, the downward arrow. I know we've had it for a few football managers now, but for someone who has absolutely no idea who's any good in this squad, it's very helpful. We're going to make a triple substitution because some of these players are quite tired. Bring Dolberg back just to see how he plays in that central attacking midfield position, because that's what they recommended at first. And then playing Crivelli up front, who's just come on for us. We'll see how he gets on. As I've said, we're 1-0 up. Any result will do me. 2-0 wouldn't be bad, but that's a poor pass. It really is. I don't think they've really been in this game, Zoe, to be honest. Nice ball from Diego Dallo. Coman, and there you go. Crivelli gets a goal. 16th goal of the season. I mean, I guess that's why he was recommended to be up front. I guess he's got to be our top goal scorer. It's been a poor season for Nice, so surely, with 16 goals in a season, you would guarantee that he's the top goal scorer, wouldn't you? But, nice shot there from Dolberg on the volley. The keeper gets to it. I mean, I know that I feel like I'm going to be a bit pally with Dolberg because he's the only player I know out of this squad, but it's the beauty of not knowing who they are and developing a story, and I just love that part of FM. There you go, 3-0. Yusuf Atal gets the goal. We're a lot better than Zoya, I think. We are comfortably going to get to the semi-finals of the Europa Conference League. I will just check before the end of the episode, though. If we go and win the Europa Conference League, do we qualify for the Europa League automatically? If so, this is a competition I really want to push for, because European football next year is definitely going to attract some better players. No doubt about that. So we're 3-0 up at the moment. I mean, even at 3-1, it's not much of an issue because we go away to Zoya next time out. You would guess after this performance we'd score at least 1. But the players have adapted to this straight away. They seem to be playing quite nicely in this formation. Again, there's still time to realise, is that just a fluke? What's happened here? Very difficult just to tell off one game, doesn't it? But that's shocking. Absolutely shocking from Zoya. We're 4-0 up. That's not a bad way to start our career with Nice, is it? I mean, it's a nice way to start in terms of the fixture scheduling, playing Zoya here. The next match might be a bit of a crash back down to earth against Marseille. I think they're second in the league at the moment. Really interested to see how the French league works and who's up there. And I guess more importantly, who our managerial counterparts are. I feel like we all... I mean, there you go. 5-0 now. What a way to start our career. Brilliant. But in the Premier League, because I watch the Premier League week in, week out, I know who the people are. I know what I'm talking about. This is a complete step into the unknown. It takes me out of my comfort zone, but I love it. I really do. I've never managed in the French league, as I've said before, so this is an adventure. An adventure that has started pretty well. There are 2 legs, but that was... I did French at A-level. I'm trying to think of a witty phrase now, but... The Grande's Italian. I've been watching too many Ferrari Formula 1 videos. French, no. I know the directions for left and right, that's about it now. It's amazing, isn't it? I only did my A-levels a few years ago, and now, it's just gone completely out of it. But, no, we're not going to have any time off. 5-0, though. I don't mind that. I really do not mind that at all. Chelsea wins 7-0. 7-1, sorry, but that's in the Europa League. Just want to check before the episode is out that we do qualify for the Europa League if we go and win. So if we win the final, winner qualifies for the Europa League group stage. Awesome. Let's go and win the Europa Conference League then. I think probably Monaco. Monaco for any of these sides, I guess, are going to be tough to beat, aren't they? Let's have a quick look at our run though. We were in the Europa League at the start of the season. We got a tough draw, you know. That is harsh. Got knocked out by Everton, I think, on... competitive record against them. A tough group though, that really was. But not a bad start to the league. I can't see anything going too badly. Must have just been a slump at some point. Yeah, about here you can see, if we just filter this by Ligue, about this point, the turn of the year, yeah, it looks pretty bleak, doesn't it? 1 win since the start of February. I mean, we went and beat PSG, but if Patrick Vieira can't do it, then there must be something wrong. He's been there since the start as Vieira. That's a shame, but he's unemployed now. We've took the job, and I'm really excited to get this started. So we'll come back in a few games cut time, probably for maybe the end of the season. It's going to be a weird one, as I say, how this works out. I guess it depends how we get on in the Europa Conference League. Because the league's pretty much finished, we might as well focus on the Conference League, but we'll play the Zoya game off camera. We'll probably come back sort of this area here about Lille, Strasbourg. I mean, we've got to pronounce the club's names first off. That's going to be tricky enough, for goodness sake, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And if you want to join me on the journey, make sure you subscribe to the channel for, in the first week and a half, daily Football Manager 21 videos, and then from then 4 videos a week. But I'll talk to you guys on camera about that a little bit closer to the date. But if you've enjoyed this first episode, again, as I said earlier, likes are really appreciated, particularly on these part 1s. But until tomorrow, I've been TIJ Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.